All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Rovertime podcast number 12. We have somewhat of a limited staff today, but we're still almost just as fun. With me today is Minding Freedom and Stan Konopka, and
Hello.
Hello.
and I'm Mark Wazz. Um, Today, first thing I want to talk about is the 4th of July weekend government shutdown in New Jersey, which I just kind of didn't get. I didn't really understand what was going on, particularly that day. But on Sunday, I was trying to go hiking with someone, and like the state park was shut down. I couldn't go hiking, and then I found out later on that apparently New Jersey, the half of like the Democrats wouldn't cooperate, and they ended up not reaching a budget by the deadline that they set. So Chris Christie, the Republican governor, triggered the government shutdown in New Jersey. So all non-essential entities were pretty much shut down for the weekend, and which I understand. You know, you could do what you got to do to get people to cooperate, but you know that your constituents are going to blame that all on you, and everyone's going to be looking at Christie like he's the bad guy, which that's a fair thing to think. But he doesn't care anymore because it's his last term as governor, so he's just kind of saying like, screw all my constituents, close everything for 4th of July weekend. And it didn't, that it's just kind of disappointing that you can't just like wait a weekend or so,
Yeah, didn't they by Sunday? Didn't he reopen them or Monday before 4th
Well,
of July?
I think on 4th of July it was back open, but everyone wants to go out on the weekend,
Right, because with the weekend and a lot of people taking Monday off, make it a 4-day weekend because everyone had the Tuesday off. But yeah, But isn't he the same one that didn't he shut down a tunnel or a bridge or something?
Yeah, Bridgegate's about Christie, which I'm not too versed on, but
Yeah, I'm not sure about it either, but I know there was something else that he was embroiled with some controversy there and that. But this is bad.
Didn't the bridge shutdown happen during the same term? Wasn't that just a year ago or so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just last year. And the
isn't this like the best argument against term limits? Because someone is going to run wild during his last term because he's gonna be like, fuck it, I don't have any more terms to come after this, so I can just do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, but there's always he could get a position, in the Senate or possibly on Trump's team, and doing this kind of thing. It's like why any employee doesn't screw the pooch or sabotage a business on their way out the door. It's that will follow you wherever you go, unless you're planning on retiring completely. If you're going to retire, but even a lot of these politicians, they go in to be advisors and talking heads on the news channels, and he literally could be screwing himself out of any future potential if that's his attitude. Particularly when he shuts down the beaches, then it's shown that he was on a beach, and then says, well, if you want your own beach, get elected governor. I mean, what a D-bag.
Yeah. And you know what? Because he's a rhino, so it just makes Republicans just look bad. Which it's surprising, first of all, that New Jersey has a Republican governor, but he's not a real Republican. But just the optics of the whole thing, like, it looks bad, like just him sitting on the beach. But like, if you're trying to get a budget passed and you actually care about the good of your constituents, you stay in the government buildings and you try to get people to work on the budget. That's the goal of the shutdown, is to get people to pass a budget. And it's going to look bad, but he just doesn't care, which is why it's just like astonishing.
Yeah.
It's moments like that when you really don't feel represented by your representatives, and it's just disheartening. I just really pissed off at him. And not just because I couldn't go hiking where I wanted. I mean, I went somewhere else, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that that makes sense. And then when, one of his assistants or aides said, well, he was wearing a baseball cap, so he didn't get that much sun. Really? The man's
Really?
a walrus. Yeah. Yeah, that's what one of them really said. They said he was wearing a baseball cap, so he didn't get that much sun. Okay, I don't know if you know. I mean,
that's like saying a politician's like cheating on their wife, and they're like, it's okay, he was wearing a condom, so it wasn't really sex. Like,
right? Yeah, that's
so stupid.
But that just goes to the point where it's compared to what he said previously, that's less, I guess, less of a shit talk than what he said, about, hey, that's part of the governor's house. You want it? Get elected governor. I mean, oh, Jesus, man.
Wow. I always knew he was just a belligerent prick. I never liked him.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever liked Chris Christie.
Well, he got elected, so enough people had to like him.
Yeah, but you don't have to be liked to be elected. Let's be honest here.
I think restaurants liked Chris Christie, but not people.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you sure. From a business side, of course.
But yeah, I mean,
of course.
But otherwise, I mean, I didn't really do much for 4th of July, but did you guys do anything? Well, I know you're in Germany minding, but I think we talked about
yeah.
We talked about that the other day because Dr. Manhattan had his own extra. Unless that was just him.
Yeah, I was on there. With him and with oh god, what's his name? President Hanosh.
Hanosh. Oh well, yeah. If anyone's watching,
a friend of Blair White.
Yeah, if anyone's watching, you should watch that afterwards because we're trying to develop like a second line of videos of just casual talking or anything else that's not like popular news. And we'll just talk for like an hour. I think it was an interesting listen. I just kind of I was organizing my room and like cleaning my desk and balancing my checkbook, which I hadn't done since like September. So I kind of just sat at my desk all day. So it was a good listen for like an hour and a half or so. So I recommend that. But other than that, how was Stan? How was your 4th of July?
Yeah, mine. I just went to the family's for a little bit of a cookout. I'm beyond caring about fireworks. I don't care about them. So it was just cookout, just a day off, really. Didn't do much of anything. Really, the bigger event was yesterday. Had my oldest niece's high school graduation party. She graduated high school this year. She's actually a young African-American young woman who is going to college in a STEM field. So she is, she's got her head on straight. She knows exactly what she wants in life. She literally could be the poster child for an SJW as far as, with her father. Father spending most of her life in and out of jail, single mother, kind of living off of the system, and she worked hard. She's very involved in raising money for charities. She's has a part-time job to earn her own way to buy a car. She got scholarships. So yeah, she's someone I'm very proud of.
But she still can't be a poster child for SJWs.
No,
she is actually
if you didn't look at what she is doing, her life and her upbringing would be a poster child. Like for what she she checks a lot of the boxes that they need for someone to be considered oppressed, but she doesn't live her life in that way or consider
no. I don't know her, so I couldn't tell that. But she's not checking one very important point. She's not studying gender studies.
Well, she's
in a STEM field. That's a killer.
But no, my point is everything leading up to this in her life, not where her direction is going. Her life.
Okay.
I'm saying like her life. They would say, she should be more trying to get some of these handouts, but she refuses to because that's just not her. So
Yeah, minding. He said she just graduated high school. She didn't actually choose the major yet. Well, like, didn't get into it just yet.
Oh, no. She and I are going to be having
Okay.
a conversation before she goes to school about.
Oh god, that sounds like a threat.
Oh, it's a well, because her father is non-existent in her life. This is going to be the fatherly. I don't give a shit about boys and party. Here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you going and protesting shit because someone told you to. I don't want you. Here's the SJW list. Do none of this. None of this, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Every
But,
child needs this.
Yeah.
This is just kind of going back and on a tangent, but I want to make it a point to refer to 4th of July as Independence Day when I talk to people, because like I went out and like you see like the Mark Dice videos and people don't know why we celebrate 4th of July. They just call it 4th of July. So if you say Independence Day, it puts it back in people's heads like, okay, yeah, that's why we're celebrating today. It's not just a day off of work. Hey, Phil.
What up?
What's going on? How was your 4th of July?
My 4th of July was filled with patriotism and working 15-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Well, better.
What do you? Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Better working 15-hour shifts than having 15-hour shits.
Well, look, you know what? It's hard to refuse the holiday pay. That's why I signed up for it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that option, but I've had previous jobs where holiday always meant like double time. One company I worked for, because I was a manager, we were open Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I would get paid my salary, and if I worked Christmas Day, I would get triple time on top of it. So I literally would get quadruple time for working Christmas.
Well,
So,
yeah, I effectively got, it would be 2.5 times, plus they give me a floater holiday for it. So it's like...
Yeah. Well, at that company, I literally would get almost an extra week's pay for working one day. And it's like, okay, that'll pay for Christmas just that day. So
That's
unfortunately, awesome. Unfortunately, that company, it was a video rental store, and unfortunately, I mean, those are long gone. But yeah, that was a good one.
I still have an active video rental store in my town here.
Do you really?
Yes, we do.
Wow, those are our video rental stores. Redbox.
We do have a bunch of red boxes, but we do have an actual. It's family video. Still here.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have one around here.
That's fascinating though to me. I can't believe it. I was so upset when Blockbuster went out by me because like just the atmosphere of like being in there, picking out your movie, picking out your snacks, then going home to enjoy the movie. It's just like a nice way to go out and do something.
Yeah.
You know?
See, family. I actually used to work for a cell phone repair company that Family Video owned, and so I kind of got an idea of how they operated and how they place their stores. Is they do it in neighborhoods, which that's where it is. It's really close to a neighborhood. So what happens is people just kind of walk out of their houses, go to the store, pick out their stuff, and walk back.
Yep.
So that's how they're able to keep up business to stay in business. I guess
the place I worked for, they not only did that, but they made sure they were generally located within like half a mile of pizza places too, so that.
Oh yeah, they got a pizza place across the street. So
yeah, so because then it makes it a whole, dinner and a movie thing. Speaking of dinner and a movie, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, I went and saw the new Spider-Man movie. I highly recommend if you're into that.
Has anybody seen Baby Driver?
No, but I'm going to the
movie.
I'm going to see to the AMC movie theaters like I think Wednesday. I'm trying to figure out which movie to watch. I've been told to watch Wonder Woman, and now Stan's telling me to watch Spider-Man, which I also would like to see.
Wonder Woman is also very good. If those are your choices, I'd say Wonder Woman, because chances are that's going to be out of the theaters sooner because Spider-Man just got released. They're both honestly both phenomenal movies.
Wonder Woman is amazing, and I'll probably see
Wonder Woman
Spider-Man
is a great.
Tuesday.
Wonder Woman is a great movie that happens to be about a superhero. Frankly,
What is the best? Which is better for like a date?
Probably Wonder Woman because
yeah, because I mean, because the Spider-Man tends to be, I mean, it's a younger kid, so it's kind of like, the premise of the movie is high school kids and that kind of a thing.
It's sort of a coming of age tale, is what I've heard.
Yeah, whereas Wonder Woman, it's kind of, I would say Wonder Woman, because I mean the women want to see they want to see a strong, powerful woman who's, I mean, she looks great, but it's not like Gal looks great in the outfit, but it's not like Margot Robbie with Harley Quinn, where it's like that's what's being kind of how she looks in the outfit is what you remember the most. That's not. I would say Wonder Woman if those are your options.
Noted. But yeah, I wanted to ask Phil this as well because he joined in just when I was talking about this. But Phil, do you tell people Happy 4th of July or do you say Happy Independence Day?
4th. I've never actually said 4th of July. I usually just say Happy 4th and then just kind of cycle between that and Independence Day. It's whatever. I've never really.
Your audio is cutting out a bit, by the way.
I must not be close enough.
But I heard you. But yeah, it's I want to start saying Independence Day. All right. So anyway, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about was you guys want to talk about CNN?
Or do we want to talk
fake
about
news?
Yeah.
Dude, those memes are getting like really good. It's just hilarious that you can't stop the internet. I mean, it wasn't a huge deal until they made it a huge deal, and now it's an even bigger deal, and everyone's in on it. It's just, it's hilarious.
God. I can't believe they would react that way. I really can't. It's amazing.
Have you seen the PJW video where there's just like 4 minutes of memes?
They have opened a just.
What they did is they opened the door. They're like, hey 4chan, come at us.
Well, the thing that I found, that I kind of found, I mean, CNN is a contradiction constantly. For example, their big thing is this was calling for violence on the media. Okay. So did they consider Snoop Dogg's video calling for violence against Trump? No. Did they consider the play in the park where Trump was Caesar call to violence against Trump? No. Did they consider Kathy Griffin's thing a call to violence? No. Okay, so 3 pieces of performance art, which anyone who's reasonable realizes that's not what they're doing. But then a meme is a call to violence against media. Which one is it? Either, and because it's in wrestling, which is also performance art, let's be honest, I don't understand and then to go after this individual person and say, well, he did say a lot of racist and bigoted things. Okay. No. You weren't going after him because he said racist and bigoted things. You happened to find that because you went looking for him because he made a meme that picked on you. And it's like Matt Christiansen said in his video, if a racist makes a sandwich, can you eat it? Or like I even said on Twitter, if you like Seinfeld, does this mean you're a racist because Kramer went on a racist tirade at a comedy club? Does this mean you can't like Seinfeld anymore? Can you not like any of Mel Gibson's movies because he went on a tirade? They are just completely clueless, and I don't know if any of you have seen, but the ratings on the app
Yeah, they deleted like a bunch of 1 stars.
They deleted about 15,000 of the 1-star ratings to bring it back to where it was previously.
To bring it back to 4 stars, yeah.
And so I just, and again, the internet is never going to forget. It's just the level of cluelessness that they have, and just.
Well, do you think that at this point it's coming from a place of desperation because it's out in the open, like all the bullcrap that they're doing, it's right out there for everyone to see. I feel like they're just completely desperate now. They're tanking.
I think they are just so. They've been proving this since Trump was elected. They refuse to look reality in the face and just assume that, well, we'll tell them this and this is what everyone will have to believe. And it's clearly not. I just don't understand the thought processes of, they must sit in a room and it's like, okay, hey, you think this is a good idea? You think this is a good idea? Great. That's all that matters. Who cares what the backlash is going to be? And then if the backlash, which was very substantial, well, we'll just keep doubling down on it.
Well, that's exactly what because the left has no reason to read the right. The left lives in their own bubble. They read each other. They talk to each other. That's all. But it's just a big echo chamber. So, and they have no reason to read the right like the right reads the left. So they never see anything that says they're wrong because they have no reason to read it. Because the left owns how much of the media? 95%?
Yep. Well,
they own education, they own culture, so they have no reason to think otherwise.
I think it's hilarious if you see the face that a leftist makes when they hear someone that doesn't agree with them. They're like, what? Like they're just like so thrown off because they just assume that everyone thinks like them.
Well, and then when someone disagrees with them, they and it's, put upon them to, say, okay, this is your point of view. Why? Well, I don't need to explain myself to you. So do you understand how this works? If you want me to understand and agree with your point of view, you need to present with me more than just, what my mom said when I was a kid was because I said so. That seems to be their mentality. It's like, well, I said this, so you just have to accept it. And yes, it is.
You got a roaming shirt.
Oh God, you got so chill. Best day at work ever.
Nice. Wait, hold on. I want to share that with everyone because it was locked on not his face. Hold on. Yes. Present to everyone. All right, let's show your shirt again. You can get roaming gear now in her store.
It's exciting.
All right. So anyway, yeah, and I just keep seeing the other memes all over the place now. It's CNN. This is gonna go on for weeks because it's too good.
Well, and they're not backing down. They're convinced of their moral superiority. The other day I spent, because apparently I was in a self-destructive and hateful mood about myself. While I was working, I spent a couple hours watching, because in my home office here I have the TV, watching MSNBC and CNN. I didn't watch Chris Cuomo because I just want to put a pencil in his eye socket.
Show him a magic trick.
But yeah, but I started and I watched Joe Scarborough and that Mika, and they are just the condescension that comes off of them, of just it's Anna Kasparian level of I'm better than you, just seeping out of their pores. And
I can't stand Don Lemon for the same thing.
You know, up until right after the election, I actually saw like just a couple of clips of Joe Scarborough, and I thought that I would respected him a lot because he was also bashing the way the liberals have been acting up throughout the election process. Yeah. And I was like, oh, all right, I've only seen a couple of his videos, and I was like, all right, I respect this guy. And
that was more. I think that was more for a brief amount of time, him having clarity of thought that the Democrats actually did screw themselves out of the presidency. So he was angry about that. But now he's gone full. Well, for example, Trump's, I didn't see all of it, but Trump's speech in Poland.
Such a good speech.
It was a great speech. And one of Joe Scarborough's comments was, oh, just spouting a bunch of platitudes. I'm sorry, did you not watch like every speech Obama gave? That's all they were, was just platitudes. But because it's Trump, he can't possibly be sincere about anything he meant. And especially when it's in front of a crowd that wants to see him.
I mean, yeah, he had the crowd chanting Donald Trump, like 6 times over the course of a half hour.
Yeah. And you know, it was actually funny when I was watching CNN. Early in the morning, they were talking how Poland was, in their description of it, they were going to be busing people in for this speech. And the way they described it was to fill the stadium or the area with friendly faces and people that would be, you know, appreciative towards Donald Trump. That's the way they were spinning it. That was their outright explanation.
When they busted protesters.
Yes. So then later, a couple hours later, there was another CNN. There was an older gentleman, a reporter for CNN, who was in Poland, and the guy in the CNN studio was asking him, so do we know how they're going to fill up the arena where Donald's speaking? And got a little grin on his face, like, come on, you know, ha ha. And the guy said, oh, yeah, the Polish government is, you know, they've had a lot of requests to get some people to, you know, so they're offering free buses for anyone that wants to come in and see the speech. And they're really, you know, kind of engaging the whole community. And it's like, that's, you could see the guy in the studio. It's like, wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. We lost the feed. Couldn't hear what you said. I mean, that's what he wanted to say, because that was totally not. It's like, oh, no, Mr. Guy on the ground, you weren't supposed to tell the truth. You were supposed to spin the, oh, yeah, they're going to be just busting people in who they, you know want. But he was like, no, they, you know, he was saying that Poland's having a lot of people that want to come. So they're sending buses out to the surrounding areas, you know, essentially to give people a free ride to come in and see the speech. So, yeah.
Poland.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be half mostly Polish.
I'm not, but I'm, you know, people think because of my last name that I am. But, yeah, I'm pretty proud of them. And I also got to say, I have a friend of mine who lives in Brazil right now who is moving to Poland. And I am thrilled that she's going, if she's going to Europe to live, it's going to be in Poland, because I feel she's safer there than she could be anywhere else in Europe by far, especially as an attractive young lady.
Wait. An attractive young lady moving to Poland? I'm close.
Ain't no way I'm letting her go. Well, she actually probably will. She's a cosplayer, so she probably will be traveling around to different areas, and she'll probably end up in Germany at some point. I'll probably
stay away from Germany, Berlin.
I'll probably try and talk her out of it. Though, you know, she's not blonde hair and blue eyes, so they might not let her in the front door because she's not part of the master race. But she can do good costumes that would make her look that way. So, but
cosplaying is like, I don't know, like, when did it start? Like, what's the earliest cosplay?
I'm sure like Comic Cons and stuff, people are
Well,
always dressed up as.
well, if you think about it, anytime, I mean, technically, Halloween is cosplay. You know, I mean, it's people dressing up as some kind of a character or putting it. So, I mean, technically, as long as kids have been dressing up for Halloween, that's technically cosplay. Now, as far as how did it explode, you know, to what it is now, I think the video games and the fact that at a lot of the comic conventions, they get big celebrities that show up, like Stan Lee, the one, heck, Rhode Island.
Oh.
Rhode Island last year had Gal Gadot there. Yeah, Stan Lee's wife died.
Yeah.
Um,
I heard, yeah.
but but that's I mean, another cosplayer that I talked to. I mean, she's been doing it for like 15 years. You know, so when did it start? I don't know, but it's been around. It's like I said, and the explosion has to do with a lot of the fact that it's the celebrity involvement and honestly, you know, as much as you might, it sounds weird, but it's really truly is a place where people can just go and it's a judgment-free zone. Like anyone can dress up as anything, and as long as it's a character you like, have fun. So it's a place for the nerds to congregate and get to rub elbows with with celebrities.
I mean, I'd like to go one day. I just never got around to it, and I don't do cosplay, but it seems like a fun place.
Well, you know, I've never dressed up once to the ones I've gone to. You know, it's fun just to go, just walk around and you just see just the, costumes that regular people put on. And, even if you have any kind of an appreciation for good art, there's so many artists and the different way they draw the characters. I think it's a lot of fun. I know I talked to Romy. She had a great time at Montreal yesterday. She got to see an artist she's apparently followed for years, and she was excited about that and got to go see a panel he was on. So, and she was wicked nervous about that, but she ended up having a great time. And it's a fun time. And you're in New Jersey. There's usually a couple in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, but I'm a
actually,
well,
just here even in Iowa, we had a Comic-Con with Shatner was here.
Yeah.
So,
guys, just as a quick interruption, I want to get the chat involved here.
Sure, go ahead.
Because, I mean, at this point, we could even say a longtime fan of the show, Jason Fry, Jay Fry. He said,
fan of the show. Yes.
He asked you, Stan, who would your old ass go as? Santa?
Well, yeah. How else could you get the kitties to sit on my lap?
Yeah, that's the answer you'd expect from River Gives' favorite pedophile.
Absolutely. No, and I gotta say, the one I went to a couple weekends ago, there was a guy who was about my size who was dressed as Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad with the hot pants. So, and I've seen guys dressed as Wonder Woman, so truly there is no shame. So I could go as dressed as anyone, but most of the costumes that I would wear, because I'd want to go like as Hagrid or something like, one of the, it looks just way too fucking hot. And I'm like, I would be wicked uncomfortable. So I'd rather just stand back and watch.
There's some people put like a ton of effort into their suits and stuff like that. Like the one guy who did the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
Mm-hmm.
That guy deserves mad props because that took a lot of work and it was like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, even people who were just, regular attendees, you'd be amazed at some of the stuff that they do. It's really quite remarkable.
Well, we kind of got on a tangent, but before we're talking about countries like Poland, but Minding, tell us about the Hamburg Antifa.
Oh God. Okay. So this weekend, this weekend, there was the G20 summit taking place in Hamburg, Germany, where I think the 19 largest economies and the EU or the leaders of the 19 largest economies and the EU are meeting to, well, basically to discuss policy, a big globalist meeting with a lot of police security and all of that, and left wing, let's call them nut jobs, decided to just go full ham on Hamburg, pun intended, and basically they destroyed full districts of the city. Like, not just streets, districts. And overall, there have been over 200 injured policemen and women. The damage, we don't know yet how much it is, but I would guess, personally, from what I saw, that the damage goes deep into the millions of euros or dollars. It's pretty close. So, yeah, it was horrible to see. And what was even worse is that afterwards you had people from the Socialist Party saying the police escalated all of this, they wanted this, and then you have others from the Social Democrats, the federal vice chairman of the Social Democrats said those guys are not left wing. Which is, I mean, you have to perform a lot of mental gymnastics to tell yourself that these people who were rioting, who were looting whole supermarkets, electronic stores, basically every store that there was around, that these are not left-wing extremists.
Well, I mean, it's probably the same amount of gymnastics to get to, all these Muslims.
You muted yourself, Phil.
Yeah, you're muting yourself.
So I think it's Google being retarded, but I was going to say it's the same level of mental gymnastics to get from just all the Muslims being totally fine too.
Yeah, probably. Hans Gruber said in the chat, not the real one, not the one from the movies, but said in the chat, shit looked like a war zone. And indeed it did. I mean, I've made a video on this. I've included some footage, some photos, some videos. You can watch it on my channel. It should be in the description below. It was horrible to see. They burned cars. They burned dozens of cars, 15 in one street alone. Again, injured over 200 policemen. Burned fires everywhere throughout the city. It was just horrible to watch. Horrible to see.
Some of those videos you had on your video were just crazy. Like watching. Just people like the guy biking just straight past, like, what was it, one or two cars just completely on fire. It's like, yeah, it's like this is normal or something.
But why does it?
And the funny thing is the imagery that made, let's say, headlines, or that got the most attention was, for example, one guy standing right in the middle of all of this, holding a sign that said, "Don't mind me, I'm just going to buy some groceries. Thank you." He just made a sign for that, to just not be bothered by all of this.
So what's that in German?
No, I'm not gonna.
So I kind of half expect Antifa to be the kinds of people that would, like, TP the street rather than burn it down.
Well, you know, I don't know if you've seen Lauren Southern's couple of videos. She did one with Tim Pool and then one that says she's sorry, where essentially what she says, you know, what we in the States and Canada have come to expect from Antifa is completely different from what it is in Europe, because apparently in Europe they've been around for forever and are a much, I guess the best way is to say is a much more organized and radical, truly, you know, full believers, you know, group where they're willing to do what we saw. I mean, you know, I would highly suggest looking at her stuff about it, because apparently there were some reporters that were attacked because they were standing near her. They weren't interacting with her. They were standing near her.
Yeah, I can put some information to that. So what happened is I don't even want to say it, a German journalist, a self-proclaimed journalist, made a photo of Lauren Southern and decided to tweet it with a timestamp. And in this photo, there was Tim Pool. In this photo, there was Marcus Di Paola of Heavy.com. And there was a German journalist, Max Bachmann, from I think even from a mildly left-wing outlet in Germany, and they were all in this picture together with Lauren, and not that they were talking to each other. It was just they were in the picture, no relation apart from that. And someone saw this photo on Twitter and recognized Marcus Di Paola, and you can see the video if I think you just have to search Heavy, or maybe G20 Heavy on YouTube, and you will find this video pretty easily. He was attacked just because he was in that picture. He didn't know Lauren Southern. He never really had to do with her. Tim Pool had a little, but they also only met for the second time there. They've met once before, and they didn't have contact in between, from what Tim Pool said. So Marcus Di Paola was attacked just because he was in the same photo as Lauren Southern. And the same for the German journalist, Max Bachmann. He had bloody knees and elbows. Yeah. He was viciously attacked. He was attended by what's the word? Ambulance at the site, who were of course there. I mean, right. If you have like 20,000, 30,000 people, some of them violent, or a good few of them violent, unfortunately. You have to have ambulance there, and he was attended, and yeah, but he had his knees and elbows bloody. And Tim Pool himself said in a video, I think he released it today or yesterday, that he got death threats, credible death threats, simply because he was in this picture with Lauren Southern, and because he made a few videos before talking to Lauren Southern.
Well, and he was actually in one of the videos with her, and they said repeatedly, he's like, I don't agree with 90% of what this woman says, you know, but they were literally together in shelter just to get out of it.
Yeah, it's guilt by association. This is what the left always does. I mean, it's nothing new, but the levels this has gone to, it's just outrageous. And Jay Fry just said he gets death threats. I think those are a little bit different. Like, I'm pretty sure if you get some, you get them over the internet, like in written form. Tim Pool got them verbally. He got people going to him, telling him, leave or you're gonna be killed.
I was just going to say, like, how do you determine a credible death threat? Because it's just thrown out all the time.
Well, I mean,
he got people going up at him, or going at him, and saying, "Leave the fuck, or we're gonna do something to you, either hurt you or even kill you."
Looking at what they did to the area, I would take it all as a credible death. I mean, they clearly, and this is what I never understand. They want, how does destroy? And this has been, this is what I said. My question with the Black Lives Matter and stuff. How does destroying your own communities help? I don't understand what is that going to accomplish?
This is why I wonder, when does crowd control get serious? I mean, they always want to do inflict the least amount of damage. Also, it's good for like the optics, but like at what point do they say like we can't afford this damage and we can't have you keep doing this and just go all out to like defeat the protesters because they're going out of hand? Like at what point do we reach that, that level of, I don't know what you call it, just are they ever, or are they just going to keep letting them destroy towns?
Well, as long as there, as long as there is leadership. I mean, has Merkel said anything about any of this finding?
I think she did briefly, but not a lot, because most of the time she was basically sealed in this G20 summit environment and didn't learn a lot about what happened outside. But I'm looking it up right now. I think she said a little bit.
Could you imagine being in a meeting and then you go outside and everyone's like, "Oh, your supporters just burned down a town"?
Didn't seem to bother Obama when 3 or 4 cities in the States here got plunged to violence, and he was never called to task for it. So, Merkel seems to be the mainstream media's, golden girl. So no one's gonna call her to task for
Obama was just like, that person could be my son. Like,
man, that was so irritating. Put it mildly.
Okay. Here. Okay. So Merkel said on the final press conference of the G20 summit. Damn, I gotta look that up because I don't. She was using words I cannot.
translate.
I cannot translate without a dictionary. The unleashed violence and brutality. I condone. I am sorry.
Condemn?
Yeah, thank you.
I was like, I hope she didn't say condone. Oh shit!
No.
I know she's I know she's all about huggy feelies, but
I'm very sorry. I misspoke. I'm very sorry. Oh God, I'm gonna be detained very soon. She was yeah, I condemn to the harshest. I think you know what. I mean,
she severely condemns this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but apart from that, all she did was saying to everyone who was basically a victim of this, mostly because of property damage, business damage. I don't think there have been many people injured or anything apart from the policemen, over 200 policemen. But to all the people living in Hamburg who fell victim in one way or another to this mob. She promised some kind of compensation. some kind of damage control or whatever you want to call it. Like,
Well, it's just going to fall back on the taxpayers. I mean,
yeah, sure it will, but
you
well,
can have some
I
of your
just-
money back.
if the police is not able to guarantee the security of everyone around there, and it was clear that the left-wing extremists were trying to make something like this happen. It was the bad planning of the people in charge in Hamburg, which is its own state in Germany. So the mayor, which is basically has the same powers as a governor in a U.S. state, his planning and one of his Secretary of State, that's what went wrong, because the signs were there. Everyone basically knew that something like this was going to happen, that it was planned and everything, and it was not prevented. So I gotta say, I have some understanding that Merkel is saying taxpayers' money as a as a compensation, as a reimbursement. I hope that's a word that fits there. To use taxpayer money as that, because the planning just was miserable, horrible.
And,
Yeah, I feel like this was all known. This was coming. Like these people, it's like it wasn't like it was. Oh, hey, these thousands of people, we didn't know they were coming, because what I've understood, it felt like it was kind of widespread knowledge that they were going to be doing this.
The funny thing is, in Germany, we have our own left wing, or radical left wing, I must say, internet site. It's called Indie Media, or indiemedia.org, and you can read all of the planning there. This doesn't take a lot of intelligence work. This doesn't take a lot of investigation.
Well, and the thing is,
Just
I feel
look,
like Germany,
just
when it
look
comes-
there. 5 minutes. Everyone can access it.
I mean, Germany seems to be pretty, strict on, mean words or hateful things being said on the internet. So how'd they miss this one? Or was it
They
because-
they didn't miss this one. The problem with this page is just that it's located somewhere in the, I don't know, Dominican Republic or something. Fuck, I don't know. Somewhere where German law basically doesn't work, even though the content is all in German. And the other problem is, and to some degree, I gotta agree here. If you shut this page down, you will get a new one.
Oh yeah,
Less accessible to intelligence agencies, to the police, but still as accessible to everyone who is part of this left-wing extremist community, who is part of Antifa, who is part of the Black Bloc. They will still access this easily. And it's not like this is working as a propaganda platform. It's really not. It's just, let's call it an open forum for all the left-wing nut jobs coordinating their attacks. And I gotta say, I'm pretty okay with this being completely public and publicly accessible, because with this, I know where not to go at certain dates, certain times.
yeah, it's kind of.
I know where not to. I mean, my address has been on that page. I gotta say, but again, it's good because I know that there is a threat. I know that I have been doxxed, and I know if anything happens. I've got alerts if anything is posted there concerning me. So yeah, I rather have this public.
Right. Yeah.
Jay Fresh said the U.S. also has a left-wing site like that. It's called Facebook.
A little side note here about the G20, and I don't have been in the loop in the last few days, but what's this I'm hearing about Obama trying to show up, even though he's a nobody once again? Like, did you try to go, or is that just some post I saw?
Obama has been consistently violating the unspoken rule of past presidents do not comment. I mean, it's been like freaking ridiculous. I mean, what did he break it after 20 days, I think, was his first comment about Trump's stuff when, Bush kept silent the entire 8 years. It's like, man, that guy just does not know when to quit.
Yeah, I just looked that up, and the story of Barack Obama showing up at the G20.
You are fake news.
Very fake news.
What, did he not?
Yeah.
I heard he's
No, he did not. That was complete fake news, and
okay. Well,
the latest AP photos, and they always make photos everywhere they are. The latest AP photos tagged Obama Germany were taken in May because he was here in May for the 500th anniversary of the Reformation.
well, I forget where I saw that then, but I guess I deserve that.
He was not at the G20 summit. He was not there.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm fake, I guess.
I don't even think he would have been invited, really. There's no reason for him to be there.
Exactly.
Oh, believe me, they would have rather
there
have
was-
him there than Trump.
I'm sure.
They would have loved him there.
Yeah, they would have, but no. There's a new president in town.
Oh, did you see him, by the way, just to end on a light note, did you see that video where the military member's hat fell off by the helicopter?
Oh, yeah.
So Trump ran to go get it.
Yeah.
Someone made a meme Trump colluding with the wind to steal this hat.
Oh God! But the thing is, I'm not so sure. I was looking at this. I was watching this, and I was thinking, would Obama have done this? Would he have gone to? I mean, Obama probably would have picked up that hat for the first time, but then trying to run after it the second time, I don't think Obama would have bothered.
Well, CNN would have edited the footage to make it look like he went running after it, even though he was probably long on the plane.
Yeah,
Probably. I'm sure someone could also make a funny meme about Trump chasing something that isn't a hat.
Oh please! If anyone in the chat has the skills.
Oh, it'd be funny if it was a pussy hat.
Please.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh yes, please. Please let him chase a pussy hat.
Because then that makes the Marine look bad. That's my own.
Oh, come on! It would be funny, and it.
No, because you can't really see the hat after it falls off the second.
You could just edit it in, but
yeah.
I mean, Obama go past the guy without even acknowledging him. Remember that video? And he had to go back out and salute him because someone told him to. He just tried to walk on the helicopter, no acknowledgement. And Trump actually salutes these people.
Oh, Trump is always very appreciative and acknowledges the police, the military, security. He's good about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was trying to get at another story that came out of the G20 stuff. and that was that Melania Trump, the first lady, was scheduled for a meeting. I don't know about what, but she was basically blocked from attending this event. As the Independent called it, she was trapped in her hotel.
I wonder if that was because of
all
rioting.
the riots.
Yeah,
because of all the riots and everything.
Yeah, it probably depends on where the meeting was.
And she was supposed to attend an event with Angela Merkel's husband. I have to look this up. On a tour of the German Climate Computing Center.
What?
Where is that?
In Hamburg.
Oh, well, yeah. Then there was no way they were going. She was going there.
But it seems like on the way from her hotel to this climate computing center, there was no way to get through. This is what I would expect. But everyone else, most other first ladies or first men. Remember, Theresa May, as the prime minister, also has a first gentleman with Philip May. Also, Emmanuel Macron's wife Brigitte and Justin Trudeau's wife Sophie. They could all attend. It was just Melania Trump who was basically blocked because of the riots.
Well, wasn't it? Didn't it seem that everyone felt that the riots were all because of Trump, essentially?
Yeah. I mean, not all of them were. Not even most of them were.
Well,
but some of them.
That's what's going to be blamed on. It's going to be blamed on Trump.
Yeah, I mean, show me something that is not blamed on Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Good things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's sunny outside. It's sunny outside. That can't be Trump's responsibility.
All right, you guys.
That was Obama.
Are you ready to close out, guys?
Yeah.
All right. It's about 15
sure.
minutes. If you're watching live, 15 minutes until Matt Christiansen's podcast. So go watch Beauty and the Beta. Yeah. Subscribe to us and Roaming Millennial and all the links in the description if you would, please. All right. Leave us feedback and have a good week.
Thanks, guys. Good night.